where do we go from here? Dylan, where do we go from here? This is overload. But where do we go from here?
We got to get ahead of this because, again, Reign of Jafar wasn't even out, and they were already talking about Fabled. It'll be next week, and they will be talking about Whispers in the Well. And the week after that, they'll turn around and
Something.
probably in a month at Gen Con, we'll know what sets 13 and through 14 are, which big things coming there. Which they did say that at Gen Con they will start showcasing actual like more cards coming for Fabled. Which we'll talk more about Gen Con at some other point. But to get ahead of the curve, I think it's important for us to go ahead and look and predict of what we think is going to be coming in the future within Fabled, within Whispers in the Well, and going forward. So I think you may have hinted at this in our last episode. We talked a lot about it. And I do have to go ahead and apologize because I know that we, like, to our community members who follow along and listen, and if you made it this far, then you're one of those, and 100% respect. But we made an announcement that we were supposed to actually be teaming up with another group of Lorcana content creators known as Lorcana Heat, who are doing really, really big things right now, especially putting together their watch party and stuff. Um, there was some scheduling issues that came about that made it to where we couldn't get together in that podcast episode like we announced that we were going to. But in that episode, we were going to again predict the future or fantasy book what we thought was going to happen. So me and Preston we're still going to go ahead and do that because I think that's an important thing for us to do. And Preston was super excited in that last episode so much, talking about what this idea, this overlapping idea that I think me and him both kind of share. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let him talk about that real quick. But it's this idea of time.
Yeah. Dylan has receipts because spoiler, how we structure our show notes and whatnot is we put all the images that you all are seeing on the video portion in a Google Drive folder. So I see what Dylan's added, but I think that as we start to get into Fabled, and I know that we had some hints with the lore cards that Dylan's going to talk about, but I think we will start to see, obviously, not only the rise of our next big villain, but I think with Fabled and Whispers in the Well, that very unique splash art they gave us, where I'm gonna call it Steampunk Mickey was looking at what looked like reminiscence of scrolls and whatnot. I think we, to some degree, just a very general high level prediction, I think we're going to start messing with time. Old stories, not necessarily time travel per se, because that would get really weird, but I think we're going to start really starting to dig deep with old original stories in the Disney IP. I truly think with Pixar coming up, I think we are going to really start to time warp a little bit and start playing with time. But that's my big one. I know Dylan has receipts, but John, the story going forward, where's your head at?
I don't know.
Good talk.
I
A
mean,
plus.
I don't have a clue. I mean, at this point, it could go 6 ways of Sunday. I mean,
All you know is that a whole new world is not getting
well,
reprinted.
yeah. Well, I mean, when I try to think of where the story's going, all I can think of is that meme you see of "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" with the guy with all the red lines going every which way. It's like I don't know. I don't have a clue. So at
I'm
this
gonna
point,
put one on the wall.
yeah. So at this point,
Greg's face.
I'm just along for the ride. Whatever, whenever I find out, I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. But yeah, time sounds good, but I don't know.
Put
Sure.
me in, dude. But Lore Master Dylan, what receipts do we have in the cards, in our lore cards? Where are we going?
First, I think we should start with this battle that is currently taking place, the Reign of Jafar that we're finally in. You said that you started the Illumineers quest this time, the Palace Heist.
Yep,
Did
sure
not
did.
finish it.
So
I have the
we have failed right before we recorded today. We tried it. We're gonna have to probably break out some different decks, but There's a lot of art that I'm still deciphering through, but yeah, we haven't beat it yet.
I haven't even purchased it yet at all. I'm excited to, but I'm kind of waiting right now. I just haven't had a lot of time with Summer Game Fest and release weekend and a lot of stuff going on to actually sit down and play. But I do have a big prediction. So this isn't necessarily a spoiler, or at least I hope it's not a spoiler, but I have a prediction as to what the prize might be. But if you go back to the first Illumineers quest, which I guess, I mean, technically it's not a spoiler anymore, right? I mean, we're chasing down the crown, trying to get it back now. But whenever you beat the first Illuminer's quest, you took that gold pack and opened it, and you were revealed an item card that was the half Hexwell crown that we took at one point was the whole Hexwell crown that Ursula had, and now Jafar has. And that was an item that was from a future set. So I think that we will once again get something that is from a future set if I was making a prediction. And I think it's cool to have this idea of an item that lasts over time. So I think the big, if it is an item, the item that I think it would be is the hourglass. So we know that there is an hourglass that Jafar has trapped Archazia in. We see it within the lore cards that Archazia was trapped within an hourglass filled with sand. We see that all of the enchanteds from this set are filled with different sand. And even the Ravensburger team has came out and said that they had this appearance as if someone or Jafar or whoever was looking through the hourglass to see all of these. So in my head, I just have this image of the entire Archazia's island, the entire palace, covered in this illusion, and then all of a sudden that hourglass being broken during the Illumineers heist. And all of that sand and that illusionary sand magic just coming together and transforming and just subsiding away, and all of it slowly starting to vanish away from the illusions as everything comes back to normal or starts to go back to normal on the island. But in the mayhem of that, I can see the sand and the magic and the power of that hourglass going a little haywire. And that causing us to potentially go back in time or see back in time. It's like the sands of the past almost. That time manipulation of the hourglass. That's how we get to the time manipulation, is through the sand and the hourglass. And that would bring us into Fabled. That allows us to see cards like Steamboat Willie, which I know we have a Steamboat Willie card already, but stuff like that, or the new iconic cards we see. I mean, those are classic Disney art. And I granted we'll have Powerline and stuff as well, but I think, like, you're right, we'll have more of that classic art style from some of these older cartoons and movies and stuff. So then the second thing is the next big bad. Who is the next big bad? I think a lot of people within the community are on board with this, but I think it'll be Hades. Yeah, there's a couple of reasons as to why. For one, he's got a card that came out in this set that talks about how he has all the leverage now. But I think it was all the way back. We might have this card in the assets, John. I don't know if we do or not. But there was a 4-cost Sapphire card that came out in set 4 in Ursula's Return. And by God, this card's got so much flavor text on it. It's ridiculous. Like, if you're looking for story, I mean, this card alone. But the flavor text reads, "This neat little scheme has Ursula's tentacles all over it. That sneaky Sneewitch. Wait, I can use this. She can keep those obnoxious Illumineers busy while I roll out my own plan." So, since set 4, Hades has been meticulously plotting and thinking stuff out, and even in that image of Hades, I mean, he is the meticulous plotter. He's got a whole chessboard in front of him plotting things out of what his next moves are going to be. He's 3 and 4 steps ahead. So even as Jafar's doing his thing and we're battling Ursula, Hades is prepping. And now all of a sudden in this set, he has all the leverage now. This is also
Oh,
the
four
first set that
sets
we
ago.
see he takes control of he took control of Megara.
Yep.
So then the last thing that I think with the future of Lorcana, Whispers of the Past, I truly think that if you go back to that image in Whispers of the Well, we pointed it out last time, that every one of those, what we presume are whispers, had glimmers on them from cards that we had in past sets. So it's, again, time. They are whispers of the past. So then, past. There is a character within Lorcana who has been introduced, and a lot of newer players don't even know who Archazia is because they don't know this story or this lore. And I would absolutely love for us to at some point create an addition to our YouTube channel or to our brand as the Ink Table and put together short videos that goes over the lore timeline wise from the beginning to catch people up because there's so many people that don't know. Even on Facebook the other day there was someone was like, who is this? Who is
Yeah.
Archazia?
I was getting ready to mention that, and I want to say that I know we got a lot of new followers from that post, but literally somebody in the big Disney Lorcana Facebook group took a screenshot of Arcasia and was like, "Who is this?" I would think we were leaving our game shop from League, and I sent it to Dylan, and I was like, "Your time to shine." And Dylan delivered. He put that thing on a silver platter with all the garnish and sparklers on it, explained who Arcasia was. I think it had like 50 something engagement likes of some nature. And I remember the folks in that going, wow, like what? So that was insane to watch play out. But it's so
Yeah, and
rich.
just so many people that they come into this game because the IP of Disney. But now that Ravensburger has went above and beyond and out of their way, and there is a fantastic, I think you sent this to me as well, but there is a fantastic interview. Was it with Steve Warner or Ryan Miller
I think it
that
was Steve
Lorcana
Warner. Yeah.
Villain did?
Steve Warner.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he did one great for anybody. You should definitely go and watch it. It's all about the community side of Lorcana, not necessarily competitive play, and this introduction of all the lore that they've had from the beginning, how Ravensburger goes about explaining the lore, and this introduction of Archazia, who is not a Disney IP. So no matter if you're the biggest Disney fan or not, you have no clue who Archazia is. So they are building this lore in this world completely from scratch in some way, shape, or form. And I think that there's a lot of hidden stuff that people don't know yet that they are setting up and they are prepping. So just quickly go back and look at the past whenever it comes to Arcasia. There are a couple of lore cards, and since they've introduced these lore cards, I've frothed at the mouth, waiting and reading and going over these cards. But the first one actually came out last set in Arcasia's Island. It is card number 13. So looking over it real quick, at one point, this exchange occurs whenever Arcasia first meets the Illumineers. And she's like, she feels great. She's like, it's nice to have a friend again, especially a fellow Illumineer. He then added, so low that Shanzi could barely hear. Maybe this time it will go better. So we know that Arcasia isn't just a character, but a character who has existed in this world for a long time, who is a Illuminator in her own right, who is the owner of the Hidden Ink Caster. But now we know that she has this depth and this history and this past. And she's been there for a long, long time. And she's worked with Illumineers before. And she's almost hesitant whenever she meets these Illumineers because something went down and something happened. And she's like, maybe this time will go better. And then Shanzi replies, what do you mean? Oh, nothing.
Fish pot.
Arcasia stands up. It was a long time ago. Come, let's resume our lesson as she teaches us how to dual wield ink. So, long, long time ago, in a Lorcana far, far away, Arcasia was up to something with some other Illumineers, and things did not go well at all. But what was that? And then This set, there was a lore card that came out, and it was lore card number 18. And I think I pointed this one out to Preston too. I was like, yeah, these lore cards are great, but that one in particular, that's probably the most important
Yes.
one. So in this one, it says that Archazia wistfully watched their exchange, then closed her eyes. I never should have let things fester with my friend long ago. So once again, this is two sets, two different lore cards back to back that Archazia is bringing up her past, something that happened with her friends long ago. And again, she says all of this in a low voice. That way people don't really hear her.
Hmm.
So
What
it
did
makes
you-
me think that in future sets, whether it's Fabled, whether it's Whispers in the Well, seeing these whispers of the past, we are going to get a glimpse into Archazia's past, who her friends were, what went wrong, and if you remember all the way back whenever this game first came into existence, when the three Illumineers showed up to the Great Illuminary, the place was a wreck. It was messed up. So does that go back to whatever went wrong with Archazia and why it was empty in the first place? Because the only person we really saw there at the time was a Mickey Glimmer that said hi and hello to everybody.
Welcome
And
in.
was her friend the most important character in all of Lorcana? Which I'm gonna say this, and people are gonna be like, "Who's that?" Was it the Curator, who was the original Curator of the Great Illuminary?
Hmm. That's deep. That is deep.
I blew John's mind.
Y'all can't see John, but John's like,
No, you didn't blow my mind. I apologize to the video viewers. That was a whole mess of stuff on the screen. It really, I
Sorry.
lost. Yeah, the card was so
He's trying to
big.
keep-
I lost. I tried to keep up with it. It was so I finally caught up, and I'm just sitting here going. Oh.
it's interesting that obviously something has gone wrong, and we've had two sets now where Arcadia meeting the Illumineers were hesitant, and then in Reign of Jafar, in the midst of the situation of Jafar taking over Arcadia's island with the Hexwell crown, she's like, I should have never let these things fester with my long friend long ago. So it's almost like this has happened, and almost like history's repeating itself a little bit. Like this has happened previously, or something is similar to what happened previously. So again, we don't know what is in that prize card in Palace Heist. I hope to maybe earn it this evening. I don't know. I will. We're not going to spoil it here, but yeah, I think it's almost like Arcadia was like a big like anchor point. Like she is now a character that we have had. If we think back, the sets have been very siloed, right? We had the first chapter, we had the rise of the Floodborn. The flood was the flood, it happened, and then we had Into the Inklings. And then from Into the Inklings, yeah, we had a little bit of overlap. Then we had Ursula's Return. We're Shimmering Skies are celebrating. We have Sail the Azurite Sea, looking for Arcadia, and now we're in Jafar, still with Arcadia. So I think this is the first time we have been with a story anchor, if you will, Arcadia in this case, for 3 sets now. So I think time is going to be that big. We're going to see something happen with time. I would agree. But these lore cards, I still miss the animated videos though. That they the set previews. I miss those so much.
Yeah. Yeah, those were great, and maybe one day we'll get something, whether it's more of those, a long form movie,
Book.
short, book, I, graphic novel. I mean, I would love a graphic novel based on all of this. Just even a series, even if it's a standalone. In the end, right after so many sets for different story arcs, maybe a comic book. There's so many
Yeah.
different ways that they can go, and wonderful artists that they can have that can contribute to make this. And Ravensburger knows that people will eat it up and buy it, and you have us in the palm of your hands. We love this story. We love the lore. We love everything that you have built. I mean, to think the hidden Inkcaster came out in set 4. We didn't know who
Wow.
that belonged to.
Really cool.
And
This
I'm
is cool,
so
I guess.
excited to see. I'm so excited to see where the story goes from here, and to look back sets from now to see what you guys have set up that we've completely missed out on.